is a prepaid collect call from an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution.
Kevin, per your words, you're 40, okay? We can leave this type of attitude on the playground. I sure did. I wasn't popular, but guess what, bitch? I'm the bully now. And then when he cried, when he got numbed, boo-hoo. You're listening to
But First, a Big Brother podcast.
Hosted by superfans
Nick,
Praz
and Jill.
Welcome back, everyone, to But First. We've had a great first week, I would say, in the Big Brother house. I don't know. What do you guys think?
it was really wild to look back at the fact that they moved in a week ago and now somebody's already been evicted, because normally by the first eviction, they've been in the house for like 14 days. And this was just kind of like, okay, poor Keesha probably spent more time in quarantine than she did in the house.
I hadn't thought about that, but you guys bring up a very good point. I guess that even fed even more. Well, we're going to get into noms obviously quickly, but that really feeds into why Cody put up who he did, because like even less so does he know these people. You know, it's such an easy out, basically.
And I think with the first eviction, always like that is the one where it seems like, yeah, you put up two whatever safe choices, or just, you know, you don't know the people yet, so you put them up as your pick. But so much can change in those first 2 weeks in terms of just alliances, you know, who they like. I think a lot in the beginning is just like, do we like this person? Do they make good food? Or do they bring us anything? Because I think when someone's like a safe nom, you feel like, well, if we don't get him out this week, we can definitely get him out like, you know, before final 6 or whatever. And so those people often fly under the radar, especially like someone who can kind of change that house perception of them within 14 days. And I just don't think like in 7 days, Keesha was going to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, it was hard though, too, because Keesha said in her exit interview today that she didn't even talk to Cody after he won HOH. Like she wanted to just lay low, and she thinks that she laid too low. So, you know, even she didn't even kind of give herself a chance to make an impression with him.
I think that's definitely a big difference between some of these like old school and new school players, and sort of the whole etiquette of what you're supposed to do with the HOH and not. I guess before we talk about like what happened with the eviction and everything, we could kind of just, you know, briefly go through like what happened over the first week. And I think the first like major change this season, and something that new that we got to see, was the safety suite and how that went down week 1.
Well, I'm officially Team Kaser. Love him so much. Love.
It's Jill's first foray in Kaser.
I think we will see Kaser have to adjust his playing strategy a little bit. I love him and I love the way he plays, but he's never made it to jury even. So I think he's going to realize like he needs to adjust. But I loved that he stepped up and played the safety suite. And I loved that obviously he saved Janelle with him. I did not understand why the hell Janelle also played her safety suite card.
It was very confusing, because I also want to know, if only one person enters the safety suite, do they automatically become safe?
Right.
Was there a time deadline?
Yes, there was.
Yeah, it was an hour. They had an hour to decide whether.
No. In the competition.
Good question.
I don't know. Like, had he not finished it within 15 minutes or something, would no one get it?
They were only trying to get the fastest time between them.
Right. I think if he was the only one who scanned, he would automatically be safe, and he would have been able to pick someone.
I think there probably would have been a time thing. So here's my thing, because I had the same question of why would Janelle do it. So here's my thought process that I don't know if it's true or not. They had no clue at this point what the safety suite was, or what the competition was going to be, or anything. So in the event that like they get disqualified or whatever, like Kaser didn't get it, then it would have been a waste.
Oh, you're right.
Like they just had no clue what the safety suite was. So it's my guess. I don't really know. I was like, this is so stupid that she's using it. But then the more I thought about it, it was like maybe they were just trying to hedge their bets, because they had no clue if somebody. I feel like somebody could walk out of there not being safe.
That makes sense, Jill. Well
Okay.
thought.
But now everyone else knows how it works, and I feel like
Maybe. We don't know what Janelle and Kaser told them.
that's true.
True.
Well, okay, I guess I feel a little bit better about that choice. I thought it was like Janelle just trying to act like she wasn't with Kaser, and be like, because I don't know, would Janelle have picked Kaser as her plus
She
one?
really wanted Keesha to stay, but
Right.
I think she would have picked Kaser.
Okay.
I think he would have made it clear to her that he was going to be nominated.
Okay.
Did anyone else find that competition like very difficult?
Yes, twinkle twinkle.
I honestly don't. I did not understand. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I was trying to listen to the sounds and be like, It all sounded the same." I would have been so bad at that. Like, I would have been awful. Also, why can't they hang out in the safety suite? I thought they were going to get to like live in there. Like,
That's funny.
Because otherwise, it's just like an empty space, and
But
like it's
also-
so nice.
That was a huge space.
It was
I know. That's why I thought it was going to be like, oh, they're VIPs now, and like they get to live in there and try to use their like safety suite position. I didn't know. I thought it was going to be something else other than just the place where one competition a week is held, and only for the next 2 weeks.
I know, right?
I guess that covers the safety suite. And so we knew, we saw that Janelle and Kaser were safe, which obviously pleased the three of us. It probably didn't please Cody too much, but I do have to say the nominations, like, is Nick a clairvoyant or what?
I've been trying to tell you guys that for years. I'm a witch. So not only did I say who was going to be nominated, but
You predicted who would go home.
week 1. So yeah, I knew. And here's the thing. Maybe it doesn't take a witch like myself to guess that the bro is going to nominate the
Right.
gay and the girl. However, he did exactly that. And let me tell you, I could watch Kevin get nominated on a 24-hour feed as long as he's providing the tears, which guess what? He will be, because that's all he can do is cry. And let me just say to all the listeners who reached out after last episode to tell me that they agreed with me about Kevin and told Jill, rightfully so, that she was wrong. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
Okay. Wait. Okay. There's no right or wrong in this situation. Okay. So Kevin on Sunday's episode spent like the entire episode basically groveling to Cody, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And crying.
It did make me veer into the Nick camp a little bit. A little. I still like Kevin, but
All I'm saying, and yes, Wednesday's episode did like shift things a little for me more, but on Sunday night, I just felt kind of bad for him. That's all. Like, I just thought
I would feel bad for him if he was a teenager trying to like surf the like politics of high school, but like he's 40 years old and he's crying to Cody and being like, "You're popular and I'm not. I'm just not, and that's the baggage I brought with me." And it's like, then you cut to him like in his like diary room or even in his like segment before coming into the house, and he's all like, "Miss Anita Vito, I am this, this, and this." And it's like, you're not. You're just, it's all an act, and I just can't stand it. He should have been the first person to go, despite my, witchy predictions. I'm furious that, my favorite waitress had to be greeted with an exit video from Kevin of all people, and it just, all he did this week was mope around. He had that sad "woe is me" face.
he might have been putting it on for Keesha a little bit. Like,
I mean, he was shaking in the.
I know, that is true. He did seem truly shocked that it was like 13-0 or whatever it was, but like,
because he probably doesn't actually know how to play Big Brother.
But I feel like because Keesha knew she was going, and we're kind of skipping over Vito, but do we really care? Enzo won the veto. He wrote a banana, and
the thing for Vito, which we can get into, is more the fact that like, he chose Enzo, and Enzo wouldn't even use it on him.
It's such a hard thing though, because the whole house guest choice thing, it so rarely actually like is a clutch thing, because it has to be like later in the season, almost, when you've established an actual like pair or alliance or whatever, someone who would truly like go to bat for you. And then so rarely, I can only basically say in season 8 did it work, where someone said, if I pick you to play the video, will you play and win for me? When Jen and Jamaica, like, they weren't even aligned, but Jen goes, Jamaica, if I pick you, will you
and she
like
and
save
she
me with
did
it?
it because she kept her word.
And she gave up her chance to play in HOH for like the rest of the season or something.
Jen, who is one of my all-stars, that is hysterical. And I remember Jamaica being super religious and being like, I have to keep my word.
Right. But that's not how people play Big Brother anymore. And so it's like, Enzo could have even said, oh yeah, maybe I'll talk to you about it. Like, which is, he pretended that they thought about, taking Kevin down. I don't think that was really like much of a consideration. And I felt a little bit for Kevin in that moment, because it's like, yeah, he even said, oh, if I get house guest choice, I don't even know who I would pick. And it's like, yeah, I don't know who I would pick either. I guess I would just pick someone who I thought sucked, so that I would have a better chance of winning.
Yeah, I mean, but that's Kevin for you. It's his own fault that he doesn't have any connections with any of these people. He's been in there for a week. He, instead of making any type of relationships, all he did was cry and grovel to Enzo and Cody.
He had a pretty good relationship with Keesha, but that didn't really help him much in that situation. But like, they had some good talks this week, but it didn't really, they're both nominated. So what were we going to do?
Right. So it's like, I don't feel bad for him to be like, oh, I don't even know who I would choose. It's like, well, make a friend.
Okay, but that's also what you saw. Like, maybe post the veto, because it seems like him and Nicole A now have a close friendship. It's what you saw. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know why I'm defending this kid or adult man, but I just feel that Nick is really on one about him.
It's tricky, because I think if Kevin hadn't been put up against Keesha, I could have seen like Kaser and Janelle like going to Kevin and saying like, hey, well, we want to work with you, and like, let's keep you, and let's, band together as kind of an old school, because Kevin, I really think, does feel like he's more part of the like old school alliance, even though I don't know, there isn't one, but it seems like he would have fit in better with them. But clearly that's not really the way the game seems to be going, at least at this point. He didn't do much this week, but there's still time, and this might be the way he plays Big Brother,
I think he'll just be a floater, honestly.
Yeah. I felt bad, because he would have won that veto if he had just freaking locked in his thing.
Woulda,
and like,
coulda, shoulda.
I know, but it's like, I don't want Enzo to win. Like, what a waste.
That seemed hard. Also, that competition, the stacking seemed difficult. Yes. I could not.
Really hard. The banana thing seemed hard. So yeah, we talked a bit about Eviction and just how it like was going down with. Keesha knew she was going home. I think everyone knew she was going home. I think she had some people who said, oh, if you have the numbers, then I'll vote for you. But that's like such a non-show of support. It's like, if you can get a majority, then of course I will go with the majority,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just felt like she gave up at a certain point, and she did feel very much, and I kind of get it. Like, if you read the EW article, interview with her today, like, the game was played very differently 11 years ago or 12 years ago, whatever it was. And so it's just like difficult. Like, I mean, obviously we'll get into this, but like, I think Janelle and Kaser are screwed.
Oh yeah, they are huge targets.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just this old school versus new school, even though it isn't a thing. I think it just is a thing. And like, so yeah, about like Eviction, Cody just had like the easiest time of being like, oh yeah, I'm going to put up these two people that I don't really know. It was just so obvious. There was no thought behind it. And it was an easy week for him. And I will say, like, not interesting gameplay at all, in my opinion.
I know there was like some talk, maybe on Wednesday or Thursday morning, even, like, I think Janelle saying like, why the hell are we just doing what Cody wants? And I do think that's the biggest difference between like old school and new school play, is like, so often now everyone is like, let's respect the HOH's wishes. Like, ew.
Yeah, no. If the HOH wants to get rid of Keesha, I'm voting Kevin out.
Right. Or if you were against Keesha, of course, then you're going to vote, but not because it's what the HOH wishes, you know?
Right.
I mean, I understand it because that's just how the game's evolved over the years. And, you know, if I were to play, who knows if I would do that. But I feel like it just shows how much the game has changed. That, like, in Janelle's season, she would blatantly be like, I hate you to people. Like, she did not hug after, like, you know, nomination ceremonies and things like that. And now it's like just a completely different world.
I had to laugh because, you know, during the evictions, this was probably the first time Kaser gave a shout out during an eviction. It's a new thing as of like post season.
Yes, I hate the shout outs.
And I would be like, I happily vote to evict Kevin. Shout out to Kristen and Jill. Hope you're potting.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Keesha got 13 votes and she was sent out, and I thought I loved her little, like, her pants eviction outfit was so
pants
cute.
looked great. Jill, you would look so good in those pants.
Yes, it was like a Jill outfit.
It was, yeah, thank you.
The mask matched, like, in a cute way, I thought.
I wish you had a red mask because that would have went really well.
Yeah.
But there was something very, like, creepy about her coming out in silence, wearing a mask, tears going over the mask, and, like, having to stand by herself.
Her speech was creepy.
I didn't think so.
I feel energy around me, and let me just say, like, I wish the best for some of you.
Yeah, because Cody and Enzo told her, we will let you know if you're leaving. Don't worry.
Yeah, and they
didn't. So she was mad, and rightfully so. This is All Stars.
I know, it just was like a weirdly creepy comment. I just feel like if I were on Big Brother, I would be playing until that final speech.
Well, the next time that she's my waitress and I'm about to give her a tip, I'm going to be like, here's a real tip. Don't leave. Don't do a creepy exit comment.
I do have to say, I don't know if this is controversial, but I would say number 2 ugly dress of the season for Julie Chen.
Oh, I don't even remember what it was.
It was
like, fine, I thought.
I didn't like the black bow that was like on top.
I know you hate bows, Jill.
No, it didn't go. But also, like, Julie, we're not going to a garden party. Like, we're on Thursday night. We're on prime time. Let's get snazzy. Like, come on.
I would like to see Julie in, like, a black jumpsuit.
Yes, like, thank you. Like, give me a little bit of something.
Yeah, but you know it would be, like, cinched with a big bow.
Well, we'll never forget the season she was pregnant and wore a Snuggie.
That was on Kevin's season.
Season 11, yeah.
Also, though, that stage looked so good with the way
the video screen.
Oh, I want that for my house.
It looked great. So yeah, after Keesha left, we got another one of those quick HOH comps where it's like the answer booths, and I really thought Julie was going to malfunction.
Yeah.
But
I was getting ready to do reset. Janelle, I need an answer.
She does, like, very aggressively be like, answers are locked.
That competition was hard.
It was hard. I was trying to play. I always try to play along.
Me too.
And I got a good chunk of them right, but it doesn't matter how many you get right, because as soon as you get one wrong, you're out. So
yeah. Well, I thought the first one was false, and only Kaser and David had it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to be amazing!" It's Kaser and David, and she was like, "True," and I was like, "What?"
I know. I wish, like, one time that would happen where everyone gets knocked out on the first question. But
okay, but we have to talk about how horrific that actor or whatever. I don't even want to
recognize him.
Actor. Okay, no. So I was watching with someone and they were like, "Yeah, he's on like every season," and I was like, "I really think I've blocked this out because of how much I dislike it."
You don't remember last season he played like the angry, like he was in the house. Basically, he's like sometimes the punishment that comes in.
Oh.
I the cringiness I felt and like the embarrassment I felt. I don't know why. I just like truly was crawling out of my skin.
I kind of loved it.
Because it's All Stars, I kind of wish it was like a past contestant.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
And then, of course, Memphis won, which is exciting for me. I thought that was cool. It was his first time ever winning HOH, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Considering he made it to Final 2. I just wish he wasn't so aligned with, like, the bros.
Yeah.
I do have some just interesting notes that I took throughout the week.
Great.
So the opening credits.
Oh no! Oh my!
Julie.
How? Okay, it's
We
all
need to fix this.
season. Why aren't they using at least clips from their previous episodes? That would make the most sense. Not these live, laugh, love like frames from things remembered that you would get at the mall. It is so ugly.
It makes no sense.
The font choice is wild, like wild to me. It's
All
so
of it is so weird. Kevin uses my chapstick.
wow. Looks like you two are more alike than you would have thought.
I wonder if he pays for his though.
Yo.
Wow, just because I'm sponsored by Burt's Bees, now available at a Rite Aid near you. The down low mance.
Oh yeah.
Kevin
And that Cody goes,
Cody.
oh yeah, totally down low mance. Like I don't think he knows the term down low. Kevin to Cody.
Oh, I missed that. LOL.
Well, he means it it's where our alliance is on the down low.
Oh.
Not your down low gay.
I know that, but it's a gay man saying it to Cody.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think it's like a funny, it's a funny play on the term down low. And I think about it. Showmance is a play on romance. Down low mance is like,
I just think it's more like it's on the down low.
Yeah, which means it doesn't exist. But
yeah, exactly.
I loved Davon and Bailey coming together.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we should talk about the alliances.
Yeah.
The ones at least that we've been able to track.
Well, first and foremost, we have the Root.
You know what? They are the root of all evil. How about that?
I just don't understand it. And if I were in an alliance and someone suggested that name to me, I'd be like, let's keep trying. Let's try something else. Like I would not just have immediately agreed to it.
It's so ridiculous. It's so obvious that those two would play together. I hate the whole we're just Jersey bros and we gotta stand up for each other. It's so first thought. It's so annoying. And Cody is a ridiculous player who in week 1 made it so obvious that he basically only wanted to play with white people and men until Davon and Bailey basically presented him with another option, which is I'm frustrated that they did that. But his shtick is so obvious to me.
And not only that, I'm the most New Jersey person here. And the fact that they're besieging my good name of New Jersey by coming together, it just makes me sick.
There's some other ones like the Commission, which is Cody and Memphis, and then but then the +4, which I don't like the other one. So it's Bailey, Davon, Tyler, and Christmas. What are they called?
Do they have a name?
It was basically the Commission plus those 4.
Right. I don't think they've come up with a name yet, maybe?
Okay. And then there's the Blessing.
God, that's going nowhere. The fact that she thinks that they even deserve to be in the final 2 is a pipe dream.
The Million Club.
What's that?
Nicole and Ian.
Nicole F and Ian, because they both won $500,000.
So cute.
Wait, my question is, who do you guys think Cody is actually loyal to?
I think Memphis.
Oh, interesting, really?
Yeah.
But then, I don't know, he kind of made it sound like Enzo.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I think it's Memphis because Dan and Derek somehow hooked them up.
Got it.
Yeah.
But
I thought he was going to be like, get this, we're going to be the renegade hitmen.
Yeah.
Danielle, she's floating around. Cody just seems to be aligned with a lot of people right now.
Well, and you know what? I guess good for him. Cody, when confronted with COVID this week in the house, said, "What? I'm just going to get sniffles."
Yeah. It's a good clip to watch on YouTube. Recommend it to everybody. So this season, I think I'm paying a little bit attention to what's happening, on the feeds and in real time. I'm in and out. So I don't really know, I feel where Danielle stands. Does anyone know who she wants to play with?
So I know that she's not. She doesn't like Janelle. She was talking to Christmas about a conversation she had with Janelle, and she thinks that she's like Janelle's like stone cold towards me.
Mm.
So I think she, and also she made a
Which I
comment.
don't think is true, but
She also made a comment about not wanting to be in an all girls alliance. So
she's got to keep. She said, "I got to keep my boys safe."
yeah, I think that
Ew.
I could see her going with like Cody, Memphis,
Mhm.
and Tyler.
Yeah. Okay. That's just.
I mean, predictably, she was like all over like Cody, like not all over him, like in a showman's way, but like basically all over Cody this week, like constantly hanging out with him, even when she's like shaming him for his like stances on COVID and things like
Yeah.
that. Like she still is like buddied up with him, and I think now that like Memphis is HOH, I think that behavior will just continue. I do think it would have been interesting to see like if Janelle or Kaser had been able to pull out this HOH, like to see her suddenly change.
I think that there is a clear divide in the house, and you have those older school players that would be Danielle, Janelle, Kaser, Keesha, Kevin, and then you have
Memphis.
but because Memphis is a like I was like because Memphis is more of just like a man's man, he can get in with Cody and the newer players.
Mhm.
You can see that the older players are more of the outcasts
Mm.
Oh yeah.
than we would prefer them to be. And so if I were Danielle, that's exactly what I would be doing. I would be, rubbing Cody's back and saying, like, let's do this in instead of like hunkering down with the outcasts.
Maybe for week one. There's so many other people who then aren't. I know, like now we know Bailey and Davon, I guess, are like affiliated with the Bros. I just feel like there's so many people that Janelle and Kaser could like snap up and collect. Like Janelle seems to have made have a pretty good relationship from what I've seen with Nicole A and Davon, and a few others, that it just feels like they could make their own kind of power alliance to control the numbers, at least in these first few weeks.
Mhm.
But it's just like, I don't know. And like the whole Nicole F is like close with Cody, but kind of close with Ian, but then like hates Janelle. It's like there's just like a lot of weird stuff going in the house this first week. And I, like you, Jill, I'm paying a lot more attention this year than at least than I did last year, which was zero attention to the feeds. I don't know. I can't help. I'm just like always going to root for Janelle, and
Yeah,
so anybody who goes against her, I just
I
am like,
know. It's not like, oh, we only care. Like, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I love the game, and I'll root for whoever plays it best. Of
Mhm.
course, I'm rooting for Janelle. I'm rooting for Kaser. I would like to see like some of the more like underdoggy players
mhm.
get farther. But at the end of the day, like I want to see like Tyler get back into like dominating the game. I want to see what like Davon and Bailey have up their sleeves. Like
Mhm.
these are things I want to see just as a fan. So no matter what, like of course me and the pod will support. It's just like right now I'm all about keeping our old schoolers alive. And you guys, there's one name that hasn't come up yet this pod. Christmas.
Mm.
And did you notice the Christmas bells returned?
I forgot about her.
She was pretty. I feel like pretty quiet that first week, and kind of a non-factor in my opinion. But maybe that's her strategy, and good on her, and we'll see. But she's not. I don't know what. I mean, I think she was named as part of that one like
She
six-person
was.
alliance.
Yeah. The commission pyramid scheme.
Yeah. It's tricky though, because it's like Cody's almost got too much going on, because he's got
Yeah.
Nicole, he's got Memphis, and he's got Enzo as supposedly like all final twos.
But you know what? Like right now, let it ride.
Right. I just think like you start to run into that Tyler situation where like you're gonna get found out that you.
I think it's a little early for that, and he's just like he's safe, and all those people would work together anyway. It's not like Tyler would be like, "Wow, I can't believe you told Enzo you would work with him. Now I'm going to turn my back on you." Like then he would just join them. Welcome to Crunching Numbers, our weekly segment where we take on a mental challenge of our own. This week, as promised, Jill crunched the numbers to see, does Big Brother have more couples than The Bachelor? Jill?
Okay, so I have a few things to say on this subject. The first thing is I would like to make a formal apology to
No.
the unnamed source from last week who said that I was wrong, that Julia was wrong. He was in fact right. So I did quite a bit of research, meaning that I found other websites that did this work for me and read them. But okay, so here's what I'll say. Here's the basic numbers, and get ready to be shocked because I was personally shocked. Big Brother, so the number of couples that are still together, and I have some things to say about that, but the number is 7.
Oh.
Okay.
What? No.
Okay, yes. So shockingly, and this wouldn't have changed anything, but 2 couples in the last 2 months have broken up, and I didn't know that. So apparently Jackson and Holly are no longer.
Good.
Yeah. And then this was just a few weeks old. Haley and Fessy are no longer.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I liked them, but anyways, so it's really only
But-
7.
Okay, but that are still together. That wasn't necessarily.
Well, that's how I was
Hmm.
doing it.
What about marriages? Marriages, Big Brother has it beat.
I don't think so. So
What?
I really just want to go on the record saying I've never seen an episode of The Bachelor.
Right.
I still think Big Brother has more.
Well, listen, both me and Julie Chen have this opinion. So, it's not the craziest thing in the whole world. But so the number that I was shocked by, that apparently these are, okay, so I'm going to call them relationships from the Bachelor universe that are still together. So we're throwing in Bachelor Pad, Bachelor in Paradise, people who weren't on the same season but have since met because they were part of Bachelor Nation. So that number is a whopping 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
That are still together?
Yes, that are still together. Now, this blew my mind. There were people, I will say, there were definitely people that I didn't even realize or just forgot about, because there are a lot of instances within Bachelor Nation where it's like, oh, they weren't on the same season, but they met a few years later and now they're married or whatever. And I have to count that because it's still
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know what you're saying about showmances or marriages or whatever, but that number I think would be hard to beat. So as much as I hate to admit it, and if Julie's listening, she'll have to eat her words too. But I guess The Bachelor has them beat. I guess it does.
Maybe if Big Brother had 4 spin-off shows, then
Yeah, and that's also a big part of it. Reading it, I was like, okay, there's so many players in this universe,
Yeah. Well, Jill, thank you for crunching the numbers.
That's disappointing.
I know.
But I have some numbers that I've crunched this week that might lift our spirits a little bit. I do have to give credit to a Reddit thread that my husband found that is documenting all of the house guests' makeup and skincare products that are being shown on the feeds. And this user, Carrie the One on Reddit, had a great thread that I've been following closely, mostly just for this first section, which is all about Janelle. And let me just say, wow, does Janelle have a lot of products in her makeup bag and her skincare bag. It's like makeup, skincare, hair care, and perfume and stuff. Do you guys want to guess how many products that she's shown on the feeds?
Oh, God. 13.
I'll go with 21.
This person on Reddit has been able to identify, I think, 49 specific products that Janelle has highlighted or is using enough that it's obvious that they've been able to identify the shades of certain lipsticks.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. And then they also conveniently linked out to all of the product pages so that you could, buy the product if you really wanted to channel Janelle, in your skincare and beauty routine. And wow. So what I did was visit all of those 49 plus links and do the math on how much her makeup bag adds up to.
You crunched the numbers?
I crunched the numbers. So among these 49 or so products, some of the featured brands, Drunk Elephant, Tom Ford, MAC, NARS, Dior, Givenchy, Charlotte Tilbury, Urban Decay, YSL, Pat McGrath, a lot of really, nice higher end brands. She also has, some Revlon and some more, we'll say drugstore brands, accessible brands. But I would say for the most part, they're fairly high end brands, and there's, it's a mixture of skincare, makeup, hair care, as I said. So do you guys want to try to guess like what I added up the total of her makeup bag to be?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say 1,700.
Okay, so I am a makeup junkie myself, and as soon as I saw this list, I was like, "Wow, Janelle is fancy." That was my first thought. So I am going to guess. I'm going to guess 26-24.
Well, for playing Price is Right rules, Jill, you would win. But let me just tell you that it's over $3,000. It is $3,136.
Oh, I was gonna,
and that is not including sales tax, which I don't know what it is in Minnesota, but I'm going to guess it's at least 7% sales tax.
Wow, that's incredible.
I will say I was floored at some of the prices of these, and I would say I'm like a skincare junkie, but I actually use like some more affordable like indie brands, and just, I think over the years figured out like what's worth the cost and what's not. The Tom Ford foundation, face foundation, makeup foundation, Nick, $150. I thought I paid a lot for my foundation, and mine's like $39.
I like that you had to be like, it's the Tom Ford Foundation, a face foundation, not like a charity.
I know. Well, just in case. She has Tom Ford perfume that is $350.
And she sprays it in the house?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Cody sprays a nice cologne that Keesha loves.
She's been like she did Nicole A's makeup, which I thought was really sweet and cute. And like, she seems to be like fairly generous with her stuff too, which I think is nice. Like, she was letting people use her Drunk Elephant moisturizer, which like some of those are like $70 to $90.
Never let anyone use that.
If I were going to be going away for 3 months, but like going to be on TV, I would probably pack a ton of shit too, because like even if you get HOH, they're not going to give her like Tom Ford lipstick or things like that in her basket. So like,
wow, this is truly my favorite segment to date that we've had. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
I have to say, as someone who is a Sephora Rouge member, which I don't know if any of our loyal listeners know about Sephora's rewards program, I am the highest status at Sephora, and I truly, truly respect Janelle. And well,
and I'm just a kind of drunk elephant noob as of here, and so even I, game respect game. Praz, please keep us abreast if any new products appear.
Oh yes, I really just have to shout out this thread on Reddit, under the Big Brother Reddit. It's been a treat to follow along.
Oh, thank you.
There was like a clip I saw on the feeds, and someone like Janelle was showing off like some of her makeup stuff, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, here's this and here's that," and I think it was like Kaser. He's like, "Oh, like great. Does that work?" And she's like, hello. Like she's like, "Look at me. I think it works." And I loved it. I was like, yeah.
I love it.
So speaking of crunching numbers, there's one number I really want to get to the bottom of. Which guy in the house do you think has the biggest D?
I think we should let our listeners tackle that one, and maybe they can text you their answers.
All right.
And that's been this week's Crunching Numbers.
So obviously Memphis won HOH. Do you guys have any predictions on what you think will happen this week?
Maybe my one prediction might be Nicole A might get nominated.
What? That's so random.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like random.
I think Nicole A is a good guess. Jill?
The only prediction I want it to say is, what does Nick predict?
Oh my god. All right.
That's true. Let's let
Okay.
the witch.
The witch, calling out the witch. I think Memphis will nominate Nicole A and David will go home.
Okay, there you have it, listeners.
All right. Well, I think I have some maybe supporting information for that, but we can probably go over it in
Spoiler zone.
Okay, we're entering spoiler zone. Again, it's not a crazy spoiler, and we can get into Safety Suite because we've now refreshed our internet and seen the who's safe. But last night after Memphis won, first of all, Memphis goes to bed early. That's something you need to know about Memphis. He goes to bed early in the Big Brother house. So after he won and he got his room, everyone just was doing the thing where they come in and they're like, hey, oh, congratulations, doing their little like first little quick pitch, like in very quick succession. Ian, then Nicole, then Kaser come into Memphis's room one by one. And Ian, when he was in there, it was very much like hey, yeah, I'm really tired, and honestly, I'm not even gonna think about it tonight, and kind of like get the fuck out of my room. I need to go to sleep. And Nicole came in, and kind of the same thing where he said like, hey, I'm gonna tell you what I'm telling other people. I don't have any idea what I'm going to do yet, but if I were you, if I were anyone in this house, I would play the Safety Suite tomorrow. And I think, because I don't know where I'm going, I feel like people should play the Safety Suite, and that I'll be able to make a better decision once I know who's safe. And she was like, okay, yes. Well, I know you need to go to bed, and I know you like to go to bed early, but I didn't want to not come in and say congrats and then that be the reason you nominate me. And he's like, oh no, I wouldn't do that, blah blah. I know people do act like that, like they'll say you didn't talk to me, but thank you, and basically like thank you and please leave. And then Kaser came in, and I will say Memphis said a little bit of the same thing, but he definitely said it like, here's what I told them, and kind of like, you and I are good, I trust you, but like what I'm telling people is like I don't really have any alliances, and like they should play the Safety Suite. Now, I don't know if that's because he truly feels aligned with Kaser, or if he already knows that Kaser played his Safety Suite last week and can't do that, so he's not gonna obviously use that line with Kaser, like you better play your Safety Suite. Mm-hmm. That was promising to me that like maybe Memphis will work with Janelle and Kaser this week, but I really don't know. I think it's too early for Memphis to make a move like trying to go after Kaser and Janelle. Maybe like after a veto type situation he would, yeah. But I really do agree with Nick that I think it could be, I had already said Nicole A. And I think once you said to David, that kind of snapped into focus for me. Like, yeah, I bet he would go for, just knowing that we know he's possibly aligned with like 6 of these other people, mm-hmm. and then not even getting into who won the Safety Suite. I think that seems like a pretty good prediction that it'll be Nicole A and David.
So Christmas won the Safety Suite, and in the last episode we saw Memphis approached her about being in an alliance. Why would mm-hmm. she play the Safety Suite?
I think Kevin and David were talking this morning. They were up before everyone else. I watched the feeds while I was getting ready for work today, and they kind of said, oh, this is what he's telling people. And then they said, yeah, it'll be really telling to see who doesn't play in the Safety Suite, because that means they're aligned with him. And I can't remember who said it. It might have been Kevin who said, yeah, or maybe a couple of people who are aligned with Memphis will play just to like throw people off their scent.
Right.
And the other thing that I think David was picking up on was like, of course Memphis is going to tell everyone except for his allies to play in the Safety Suite, so that next week when it's the last week to play it, Memphis will either win it automatically because he'll be the only one with his safety VIP pass or whatever it is, or it'll be down to him and his true allies.
You know what I'm excited to see is if somebody plays the safety suite to block somebody from getting it.
Well, I have to say that the person that Christmas, we didn't mention this, who Christmas gave her +1 to
Crazy.
was Ian.
Yeah.
So
Why?
I just have to say that I'm fully on board with Ian. I think he's a fantastic person and I really like him, and I am happy he's on TV and I hope he does well.
Okay.
Aw.
Well, I just want to say if I was HOH, I would put up Nicole F and Ian because they already won.
Yes, totally understandable. Totally. I wonder how the Christmas saving Ian conversation came about. That's sort of interesting. Wouldn't have suspected that, but it could also be Christmas not trying to show her cards that way too. Like, oh, I don't want to save someone who's in my alliance because then it'll be so clear. Like, who knows? So I think as we're recording this, I think they're going to be noms soon. So obviously, whenever you're listening to it, you could probably check out online and see, or wait to see till Sunday night.
So that about wraps up our show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And please keep up messaging us. We love getting the messages throughout the week of what you think is going to happen. So be sure to tweet me at Nick Walsh. And remember, do unto others as
you would have them do unto you.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.